Hi, I'm Scott Fitzgerald. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here at Creek Technologies. Thanks so much for spending some time with us today and welcome. Today's webinar, The Future of Insurance Operations, Embracing Evergreen Technologies, it's going to be a great interactive discussion where we're going to hear from Mutual Benefit Group and their CIO, Adam Solomon, to talk about their digital transformation journey. We'll also be joined by Client Partner and Vice President Vasu Kolli from LTI, where we're going to hear from them on their partnership with MBG and how the two, along with Duck Creek, are working together on this journey. We hope this is a really interactive session where you're going to learn a lot about Mutual Benefits Group's decision to migrate all of their core systems to the cloud, really embrace a new way of working, and I think some of the great lessons learned on the keys to unlock the value of that digital transformation journey. Just a little bit about our speakers today. Adam Solomon is the CIO of Mutual Benefit Group. He brings an incredible amount of experience from both public and private industry to that role and brings a lot of leadership owning all elements of the MBG application infrastructure, system support, enterprise architecture, project delivery, and more. He's got a really great background and I think has learned a lot of lessons that he's bringing to bear on this, both his role there in general and this really exciting project. Vasu Kolli is an area vice president and at LTI and manages a portfolio of property and casualty clients. He's got experience from multiple industries, but is really dedicated and focused to insurance right now in many ways. And his team works closely with clients like MBG on product package implementation, other IT and security projects. So it's a really exciting to have both these folks, and hopefully you'll learn a lot today from today's sessions about how to make this transition, how to go about a digital transformation. So let me go ahead and welcome both Vasu and Adam.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Adam.
Hey, Vasu.
Hi. So thanks so much to both of you for joining. Looking forward to the conversation. Before we started, Adam was sharing, and Vasu's been close with this too, Adam was sharing with me the Mutual Benefit Group strategy around a target operating model and why that's such an important part of this digital transformation journey. And really sounds like it's so much more than just an IT story. It's really a whole operating model for the business. So Adam, I was hoping you could start by sharing a little bit about what is this target operating model for MBG and why is that so important to your project?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. It is very critical. We really felt it was important to get everybody on the same page about really what we were doing. You hit the nail on the head. It's not an IT project, right? It's an MBG transformation. So while it's a technology and a platform, it's really looking at everything. So it was really important to us to have this, target operating model so that the business really knew, where they wanted to go, what they wanted to do. So we had to look at all the business processes and automating some of those processes and decide what we keep manual and those types of things, and looking at our billing processes and having, and looking at claims and smart operations and all the way through even to the reinsurance. Got to understand what our agents want. We got to understand what our insureds want. So this really isn't a lift and shift, from on-prem to cloud. We are redoing what we already have in Duck Creek. And we really needed to look at those lines that we have, take advantage of those products, better set them up so we can respond to the market. So, you really have to look at all aspects of the business. And, again, at the market segmentation, all the way down to analytics, right? We have to understand our risk and what we're writing and even think about compliance and regulatory. So we really thought it was really critical. It was one thing that actually LTI brought to the table was making sure that we had this target operating model. So we think it's been the key for us and really helps drive communication, change management, and keeps us on task to our goals and objectives.
That's great. Vasu, can you share a little bit more from your perspective on why, in partnering with MBG, that they've embraced this target operating model, how that then makes the work for LTI easier, and some of the things you're focused on?
Sure, Scott. Sure. I think Adam covered it well. But yeah, let me start off. I think I'd like to actually thank Adam and MBG for selecting LTI as their strategic consulting and implementation partner for the Duck Creek transformation to cloud. I remember when we first discussed about this initiative, probably a year and a half ago or 2 years, Adam clearly presented his vision on why he wanted to go to the cloud, how he wanted to stay current with Duck Creek products, and at the same time, provide his business a platform that is really modern and flexible to operate. So that being the premise, as a next step, we got engaged with MBJ Business and IT on a 10-week blueprinting phase to actually, develop and deliver a transformation strategy and to define a target operating model with 4 key principal driving principles, factors, I would say. Okay. They are critically evaluate business products, profitability, and overheads to arrive at a manageable portfolio of products. Then maximize out-of-the-box features, minimize customizations to Duck Creek platform, and overall architecture for ease of maintenance. Create a future-ready business processes to align with out-of-the-box features of Duck Creek. And lastly, identify the right set of functions, stakeholders, and skills, and set stage for change through a very structured OCM processes, because that's very key for any transformation. So in order to deliver this, we from LTI has brought a 5P approach, wherein all the P stand for platform, products, process, plan, and people. Okay. Yeah, I think to come up with this whole operating model and transformation strategy, LTI brought industry's best practices, our deep insurance domain knowledge, and rich Duck Creek expertise to the table.
Yeah, that's great. So, we have this target operating model now that, MBG is leading, and then, LTI is aligning their support to. I want to click down a level, Adam. When you think about, as a CIO, translating this target operating model into action in your, in the IT world and the systems, did you see, we assume you see the shift to cloud and the shift to a SaaS operating model as an important part of embracing that. But I'm curious how you made that decision, or what was important about the SaaS operating model to be able to really support this target operating model that you're trying to embrace as a business overall.
Yeah. First off, I'll say the 10-week plan that we did with LTI was really critical, and then also ties to the SaaS and why moving in that direction. SaaS, not only in the Duck Creek space, but in everything we do, has really become critical for us. Especially a company our size, right? We're a regional carrier. We're currently in a couple states. We have, ambitions to grow. So to be able to have a platform, an ecosystem that is configurable, more configurable than customizable. Obviously, we can customize, but having templates, right, and jump starts and those types of things. Getting information around circulars, right, from Duck Creek, that allows our team, both on the business side and on the IT side, to focus on delivering new products, right, new services, growth, and those types of things. So, we really think the SaaS model is the way to go. It's here now. It's not even the future, right? It is here, with claims getting updates every 2 weeks. We've been able to take regular features and updates. And when we get more into the policy systems, the billing and insights, once we, go live in the on-demand environment, getting those regular updates again with templates and rates and rules and forms, those are really huge for us. Another area that we've really embraced around the SaaS side is around anytime managed integrations, right? The AMIs. We've acquired or purchased 4, 5, 6 of them with Duck Creek, and that's great. We can stand them up. Actually, Duck Creek can stand them up, and we get to take advantage of them. We're doing things like Assure Sign and Precisely and LexisNexis and those types of things, and having Duck Creek manage those relationships with those vendors for the maintenance and updates and those types of things, again, frees us up. So that really allows us to look at the insurance products that we want to do, use our resources and our capacity to grow and be innovative, and not necessarily have to worry so much about the day-to-day, firefighting, maintenance, those types of things. We're leaving that up to other folks, but our team's obviously still involved in those things too. You can't totally get rid of it, but it really allows us to that. And I would say the one thing also that's really key for us is the security aspect. It used to be that if you wanted to move to a SaaS model, security was a concern. Now, moving to the SaaS model allows you to leapfrog and get more security, right? So if you're obviously we're going to be in a Microsoft Azure environment, that's hugely secure. The software development lifecycle that Duck Creek applies to the product itself has a lot of security built into it. The penetration testing that goes on during the pre-go live it is all really key. So that brings our security up to a whole nother level. Then if we had to do all of that internally on ourselves, with other third parties, et cetera. So for us, it's really key to move into the SaaS world.
Right. And when you think about this, Vasu, you're seeing the transition that MBG is making, some of the systems transition, and undoubtedly from Adam, you're hearing this, hey, we want to get to focusing on insurance, and we want to get to focusing on our customers and innovation. What's your perspective as a partner with MBG working on that, and what needs to happen?
Oh, yeah, I think, Adam covered it so very nicely. I think he covered all aspects of the response. But what I'd like to add is, as we all know, MBG has been running their business on older versions of on-prem Duck Creek software. And they also have some legacy wins on AS400. Okay. So with that, keeping the systems current with ISO is always a challenge, has been a challenge, and will continue to be a challenge, right? So moving to Duck Creek On-Demand SaaS platform presents a great opportunity to MBG to get current and stay current with ISO. It'll also help introduce future-ready, consistent, and an integrated experience across the insurance value chain, be it claims, billing, policy, or reinsurance. And lastly, and most importantly, SaaS model will reasonably free up MBG business and IT associates bandwidth so that they can focus on other strategic initiatives.
Yeah. So that's great. So, I want to pivot, and I'm going to go deep. I keep going deeper down the rabbit hole here. So getting a little bit more into the reality. Okay, you're shifting to a SaaS model. You're taking updates more regularly. One of the things we've talked about, and I'd love for you to share, is all of a sudden the spotlight on testing. So all these wonderful benefits of a SaaS model and new features showing up and new capabilities showing up very regularly, it kind of throws the historical testing paradigm out the window. And I think most of our folks listening here, most of the folks in insurance, are used to this sort of couple of big times a year, we're going to run our big tests, and now all of a sudden we're upgrading every 2 to 4 weeks. Adam, can you talk a little bit about what you've had to think about and why testing is now in the spotlight and how important that's become?
You're exactly right, Scott. Testing is very, very important, and it always was, but it's just a different different beast now. You really do need to spend time thinking about your test strategy, because if you're getting regular updates, especially if you're getting them every 2 weeks, you have to have a good automation plan. So you have to really think about not only, just your typical system testing and I'm going to automate some of that, but, how are you going to regression test, and how are you going to add to that regression test bed, and how are you going to ensure that you do some smoke testing, and that's challenging, right, in production, because you can't do transactional steps, but you have to be prepared. And so we've invested a lot in testing, and again, all the way from our test strategy to our test cases to our test planning, performance testing, right? You think, oh, well, it's in the cloud, it's going to be fine. Well, no, you still have, network connectivity from data center to data center. You have VPNs involved and security. We have, our whole platform is on APIs, right? And microservices and those things. So we've had to even think about how do we do API testing, which is new. So we've definitely formalized internally our software quality assurance process. We use a GWT or get when then type model, mixed with other testing methodologies. But you have to think about it all, right? From rating testing to stress testing. And I would also say that it's important to embed, we embed MBG employees into that testing also, right? Because one thing that we have is a huge amount of business acumen, right? So you can write test cases all day long, but when you have some longtime folks at the company, they really do help really understanding that really granular level or integration or things that you're not really thinking about. But you have to spend the time on your testing. And it's a really critical piece to any transformation. But I think when you're moving from on-prem Duck Creek to on-demand, it's really important. But also when you start talking about, like what Vasu said, legacy systems, and they're still involved, right? They're still involved through this period of time. You still have to test that integration back to those legacy systems until they're totally gone. So it's a key, really, really, really key component. And I would highly recommend anybody spending some, if you're thinking about doing this, spend some time in the testing piece for sure.
Right. So that's great advice. And Vasu, I'd love to get your take on it too. I mean, your organization has had to look and really help consult MBG through some of this and play an important role in building some of these capabilities. And you obviously see across a whole set of clients, as we move more and more of the insurance industry to a SaaS model, this becomes a critical capability. I'd love to get your take on that.
No, absolutely. I think, coming from the services and consulting world, some of the typical challenges that we usually see across, while testing insurance products are, absence of a comprehensive test strategy. Adam covered that already. Inadequate test coverage is another big challenge that we typically come across. Automation approach not defined for each application layer. And when I say that, I mean UI part, API part, data migration. So you have to cover all aspects, not just core application in terms of automation. And Adam already said this, limited focus on non-functional requirements like performance testing in this case, right? So these challenges, if not addressed in a timely manner, obviously will have an overall impact on the product quality, reliability, delays with the go-to-market, and of course, project schedule and cost overruns, right? And all this will have a dominoes effect, right? At the end of the day, there's a customer that's not satisfied, and the future costs of support and maintenance also will drastically increase because of not addressing these things. So in this particular engagement, LTI along with MBG has collaborated well in coming up with a very detailed and comprehensive test strategy upfront, and an approach that focuses on the testing end-to-end of the business flows. Okay. And what we have also done from LTI side is, we have actually designed a tag-based test automation framework that is completely data-driven and modular, which enables non-technical people, people from business or other functions, right, to define test scenarios very easily. This gives an ability to the program to run multiple regression testing cycles during the phases of the project as well as post deployment. So that way, you are able to ensure the quality of the final product at not just the end, but at the several different gates along the course of the project. So that's something that we were able to successfully do and deliver in collaboration with the MBG team as part of for this program.
So that's exciting, and I can tell you, we're at Duck Creek. We're thrilled to see that work that the two of your organizations have done, and us getting to play a role in it, because we see this as really a key to unlocking the operating model for insurance carriers as we move to this SaaS model and more aggressively drive to CI/CD, more aggressively drive to regular, consistent updates. There's so much business benefit there, but this is one of those key paradigm shifts, thinking about testing as an ongoing, continuous, automated process. That's a paradigm shift that's got to happen for the benefits to flow through. So it's exciting to watch. We're thrilled that you're sharing this with more of our customers, and we hope more folks will follow suit. As we roll towards the end of our time here today, I'd love to finish on sort of a high note around the partnership between our three organizations: Duck Creek's role, MBG's role, LTI's role in trying to really make this happen. And Adam, I'd love your perspective, and probably more than just three organizations that had to play a role in this big digital transformation journey, but I'd love your perspectives on partnership, both internally and externally, and how that's worked for you.
Yeah, I think first of all, the key word there is partnership. We don't really look at Duck Creek or LTI as a vendor, right? We look at both of you as a partner. So to me, I look at it as, the more eyes, the more experience, the better, right? If we could do all of this all by ourselves, we wouldn't need that. And so the partnership's been really, really key. We've had, through our delivery assurance with Duck Creek and the conformance reviews and those types of things, really good success. That's really helped in Duck Creek being able to be that partner to really say, hey, one of your target operating models that you want to hit is out of the box, right? And more configuration over customization. So staying true to that. The testing piece, again, I know hitting that again, we've gotten a lot of great comments from that process and that partnership with Duck Creek around the testing methodology that we put into play. You brought up CI/CD, those are all things that we've been sharing with Duck Creek as a partner of things we want to do. Actually to a point where I think where we actually solve some problems that we get to share back with Duck Creek, which is again, a partnership. It's not a vendor necessarily relationship. It's a partnership. And on the LTI side, right, the hybrid implementation, I think are critical. Again, going back to the business acumen that MBG has, the culture that we bring, our MBG culture, the MBG experience that we bring right to the implementation is embedded right into things. And then with LTI bringing, methodologies and tool sets, again, things that they do on a regular basis over and over and over again for other clients. We don't need to reinvent that wheel, right? We don't need to do that. So again, if you take the three of us together, partnership, it really does make a big difference. And I think the big key thing between both teams is staying true to the enterprise architecture that we defined. That was part of what LTI helped us do during that 10-week planning assessment. We really defined a very thorough enterprise architecture. And through our partnership with Duck Creek, and again, obviously the continuing implementation with LTI, we can stay true to that. It's been a really, really nice just to have, again, partners that we can call upon, ask questions. It's been really, really helpful to our transformation.
Yeah, And, you know I can speak for all of us. I know that not every moment on a partnership is roses and buttercups.
Right.
And, I think that's part of it, right? All realizing we're gonna have to muscle through some of this stuff together. Just real quick, Vasu, because we're running out of time, I'm sure you would want to say a few words about the partnership with MBG, and how we're all working together.
Sure. I think, I think thanks for the kind words, Adam. Well, the way I will put this is a win-win-win partnership to start with, right? Where everybody is having, something to positive to take away. In this scenario, with LTI providing end-to-end execution with the right shoring project delivery framework during these challenging COVID times, and Duck Creek providing technical advisory, conformance reviews to ensure that best of the platform capabilities and development, best practices are followed throughout the program. And MBG as a customer getting best of both the companies' core capabilities, a systematic, structured tri-party governance, and seamless experience for driving their desired transformation. So I would also, I think, to extend that, I would also like to call out the LTI's innovative solutions and approaches for a couple of things that really were really appreciated by Duck Creek auditors and the MBG stakeholders. They are two prominent items called feature flagging to reduce code branching, and then optimum utilization of configuration test environments to support parallel releases. So I think these two items were greatly appreciated by all both the partners. This approach actually establishes a good template, if you will, for mid and small sized insurance companies moving to or planning to move to Duck Creek on-demand platform. Again, for LTI, this is extremely important, Scott and Adam, as it helps demonstrate and position us as a strategic partner to Duck Creek on-demand implementations. I can go on and on, but there are really a lot of positives from this, from this three-way partnership, honestly.
Yeah. Well, so I'll just wrap up by first of all acknowledging we're going to run out of time, so we're not going to be able to get to Q&A. So we'll try to follow up with folks who do post questions afterwards. But I think what's exciting here is innovation doesn't always come in the big fancy stuff you throw on the website. And I think within the discussion today, there were some really important poignant moments around this idea of the innovation that's going on at MBG with LTI's partnership around testing that we can learn across our customer base, we can learn across the industry. And it's exciting to see, and it's neat. Adam and I have joked about it doesn't always have to be the biggest insurance company in the world who's going to innovate and create breakthroughs. And so it's really exciting. We're thrilled at Duck Creek to be a part of it. We're thrilled to have this kind of partnership, but we've got a long way to go. And there's, the great thing about digital transformation is there's no end to that journey, right? So we're going to be working on this together for a long time into the future, but we really appreciate the time today, Adam, from you, and then Vasu, your partnership as well, sharing a little bit about your story.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. We look forward to it.
Yeah. Thanks. And thanks to everybody who joined. And like I said, please post questions and we'll do our best to get back to you if we can. But thanks again. And thanks, Adam. Thanks, Vasu.
All right. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Vasu.
Thank you. Thank you both. Enjoyed the conversation. And thank you again for the partnership, both of you.